We are doing it live from the Central Rock Gym in Watertown, Massachusetts. This is a semifinal round of the 2016 USA Climbing Sport and Speed National Championships. Brian Reynolds
and Chris Widener here. Welcome.
Welcome, everybody. We have an exciting morning of sport action for you this morning. 24 men and 24 women coming out of yesterday's qualifiers in the semifinals this morning, looking to punch their ticket to finals tonight, Chris.
That's right. This is going to be an exciting round. All of the competitors climbed 2 routes each during the qualifiers, but now in the semis and in the finals, they'll each be just climbing 1 route. So this is their only chance to move on.
We're just going to get started here in just a second. We have our first competitors preparing to face the wall here. Remember, the format this morning is a on-site format. The competitors had a chance to preview the route just a few minutes ago, where they got to come out and kind of pantomime climb the route. But otherwise, they have no prior knowledge. This will be their first attempt and their last attempt at the semifinals route.
You're looking at Levi Tracy there.
Levi's 16 years old from Cranston, Rhode Island, our 24th place qualifier for the semifinal round. He's been climbing for 7 years. Took 4th place at the Pan Am Games in Mexico City, bouldering.
So what's interesting, Brian, to me is that for the men, we basically had to narrow down the field by a half yesterday because there were 51 men who entered qualifiers, and for the ladies, I think only 1 woman didn't make it.
Yeah, that was
to the semis. So the women yesterday was kind of a little warm up, but the guys was very competitive.
Yeah, one of the female competitors actually down yesterday talking to the judges, trying to just get them to make an exception, let all the women through to semifinals, but not within the rules that we're working with here this weekend. But that was a nice show of sportsmanship.
That's right. We're looking at Francesca Caiazzo there. She's 20 years old from St. Louis, Missouri. She's been climbing for 11 years, and she was our 24th place qualifier in yesterday's round.
We'll be looking to take our top 8 competitors from the semifinal round into finals tonight, starting at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time, right here back at LT11.tv. Don't miss that.
The audience is just kind of slowly filtering in here today. This is an early start. It's 11 a.m. here in Boston, Massachusetts, and we still got quite a few people in. First competitors on the wall. It's an exciting start. It's going to be an awesome long day of competitive climbing. And there goes Francesca, about halfway up the wall. She was our first female competitor, just testing the waters.
Levi about halfway up the wall at this point. Very long route zone semifinals. Route setters really making use of this entire surface here at Central Rock. Levi looking pretty good so far.
That's the longest quick draw I've ever seen in a competition. That one below his feet.
I think I've done boulder problems shorter than that quick draw. But the beginning of the round is always interesting, Chris. You're always looking for somebody to kind of come out of nowhere on the lower part of the qualifying running order and make it into finals. Nice work by Levi Tracy.
Yeah, I agree, Brian, and I feel like there's a much greater chance of that happening in the men's field than there is in the women's field. I just feel like the women tend to be, there aren't as many of them, and the top 10 in qualifiers are likely going to be the top 10 or so in the semis.
Yeah, we're looking forward to some of our top qualifiers. The top qualifiers for the women are Claire Burfine and Margot Hayes. Both completed both qualifier routes yesterday, and for the men, Sean Bailey and Drew Ruana. Really looking forward to seeing them climb a little bit later here in semifinals as we get our next competitors out on the wall right away here.
We're looking at Becky Switzer climbing now. I actually had a chance to talk to her in the warm-up area yesterday. She's by far the oldest female competitor who entered today. She's 35 years old. The second oldest being Suzu Jeffrey at 23. so Becky's definitely feeling like the oldest, but she was really psyched, and she sees no reason why she should be the oldest. I'm personally hoping that she does really well, because I think it'd be great to see someone older than the teenagers.
Yeah, the women's field definitely skews young, Chris, and we'll have plenty of time to explore that as the round goes along here.
So I have been told by the CRG staff, if you are on the second floor, if you could find a spot on the bleachers, there is no standing at the fence. Unfortunately, we're just blocking the view of everybody who is sitting in the bleachers. So once again, no standing on the fence. Please find a seat or come on down. Plenty of viewing room on the first floor.
Becky lives in Salt Lake City. Becky Switzer. She's it sounds like she trains a lot. She's been a high-end athlete in other sports. I don't actually remember which sport she said, but it was I think a water sport. And then she's been climbing aggressively, I think, for about 10 years or so. So she started climbing, at an age greater than every single other competitor is right now.
Oh, it's going to be it for Becky Switzer. Great showing by her here at Sport Nationals as our next male competitor steps up to the wall. That's Martin Kuhnel. Scottsdale, Arizona. Martin's 18 years old. Been climbing for 9 years. Interested in physics and astronomy. See if you can piece together this men's semifinal route.
So yeah, it might be worth mentioning now, Brian, that we've got several of the continental champions returning and competing, and at least one or two foreign nationals for the men. So there are 8 official people who move on from qualifiers to semis, but that could easily mean 12 women, and it could possibly mean 12 men. Because the continental champions from previous years, world champions like Grace McKeon, and foreign nationals do not count in that 8. So there could be up to 12 of each moving on.
That's right, Chris, because one of the overall goals of this weekend, besides crowning that national champion, is to determine the U.S. national team. So that's why those rules are in place, to give us the greatest pool of climbers to pick the national team from. So we'll definitely be seeing some bonus climbing tonight during finals.
How many move on, do you know, to the national team?
I believe it's top 4 or 6. We will confirm that for finals tonight.
Oh yeah, Martin Kuhnel. He was the one with the hot pants. Yeah, I like this guy.
Martin nearing the point where Levi came off the route. Climbs are so involved. So many moves, Chris. It's a little bit hard to wrap your head around. The wall is not, overwhelmingly tall when you look at it, but these routes are so involved.
They are. They're really circuitous. I mean, they're climbing so many more moves than the 50 feet of this wall would allow you to think.
Really, one of the main reasons for that is the route setters want to get the best separation they can going into the finals tonight, trying to separate the field as fairly and evenly as they possibly can.
We're looking at Olivia Roy. She's a 16-year-old from Worcester, Massachusetts. Been climbing for only 4 years.
That's really interesting. Definitely one of the more inexperienced climbers that we have here. Martin, not able to stick that move. So we start to see in some of the other qualifiers, they've been climbing for so long, yet they're so young.
Yeah.
They just have such a broad depth of experience that you wouldn't normally expect for people that, barely old enough to vote.
That's right. Yeah, and I do believe that Olivia was or is on the local team here at Central Rock Gym. So this is no strange place for her to be, I'm sure.
Another interesting aspect of this, Chris, is that the warm-up area for the competitors is mainly a bouldering zone, so they don't, they're not out there doing a couple, 3, 4 routes to get warmed up.
That's right.
They just kind of boulder as best they can, and then they're out here, climbing a really super hard route.
That'd be kind of heinous, honestly. I mean, I don't know. For me, I like to warm up doing what I'm gonna do when it matters. Not that anything I'm doing really matters, to be honest. But yeah, that is a really good point, Brian.
I think a lot of people that are out at home watching that are climbers, everybody's got their warm-up routine. It's different for these comps, but the theme that we'll kind of be hitting over and over again is the experience that these competitors have. They've done these multi-day comps numerous times over the years. So they're used to what is sort of an unnatural way to get ready to climb.
That's right. Although I guess more and more it's probably fair to say that people are now warming up in their home gym, or they're going to their local gym before, say, heading out to the crag and sending their hardest sport routes.
Yeah.
So I think we might be getting away from that, and I don't know what's the chicken or the egg, Brian, but
people are definitely getting smarter out there.
Exactly. Oh, and Olivia Roy is off the wall on a really interesting section. Now, well, all I see from here is like a, I don't know, 15-foot rightward traverse where you actually have to down climb a little bit. We have yet to see what those moves are like.
Up next for the men, Josh Larson, 30-year-old climber out of Massachusetts, somewhat of a local around here. Josh has been climbing for about 10 years. May have seen him nearly winning Bouldering Nationals last year. Josh, one of our favorite climbers to watch. Didn't have a great qualifier round yesterday, but always a threat to make finals.
He is. He's always fun and dynamic, and I love his facial expressions versus his hair. It's awesome. He's just got that wild look. Josh is 30 years old. He's one of the oldest male competitors. I believe there were 4 guys in their 30s who entered qualifiers yesterday, as opposed to only 1, Becky Switzer, for the females, whom we just saw.
It was hard to believe that just last night these walls were littered with the qualifying round routes. Head setter Luke Bertelson spent all night with his crew of route setters to get these routes ready for you.
See Josh just trying to get warmed up a little bit still.
And they are about to do the same thing in between the semifinals and the finals.
Yeah, and the biggest difference, I'd say, between kind of what the prep is like between bouldering nationals and sport climbing nationals, like you said, Brian, is you come out having not climbed on a rope. But also, this is your only shot. At least in bouldering, you get to fail, you get to kind of try out the moves. You don't have much time, but you can get on 4 or 5 times. I mean, as soon as you leave the ground here, it's on. And if you're off, then it's off.
Yeah, it can be over in a split second. Be off the wall before you even realize it.
Yeah, now this is the part of the route for the men that looked like it was getting very serious.
Yeah, the angle of the wall starts to steepen a little bit. The hole is starting to get worse.
Nice.
Josh Larson pushing it.
Good thing Josh is a boss.
You can see him really struck. That right arm, you can see he's just not able to hold on for Josh Larson. You could see his right arm just get too fatigued there after he made that clip. And it's kind of an interesting aspect of sport climbing. The clipping is almost a part of the, it's almost another move just to make some of these clips.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And in fact, the clips do count in the score, like you pointed out earlier. We're looking at Erica Rothrock, 16-year-old from Reading, Massachusetts. She's only been climbing for 5 years. A relative late starter at 11. Just kidding. Yeah. Erica Rothrock.
She loves the environment.
Indeed.
It's always good to hear. This women's route is kind of crazy looking. Really looking forward to seeing some of the climbers get onto the top part of this. See if Erica can be the first one to really push into the top section where there are tons of volumes and downward moves and
Yeah.
all kinds of fun looking stuff there.
The official climbing shoe of USA Climbing. Evolve is made in the United States and is pushing the standard in climbing approach and lifestyle footwear. Their slogan, it's simple: evolve, transform, and perform.
Great camera angle. I really like that GoPro.
Getting a good look at the Central Rock facility here in Watertown, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. It's going to do it for Erica Rothrock.
Just a move or two below where Becky Switzer got.
And about to get started on the right.
Excellent effort by Erica Rothrock.
News for the guys with Ben Isaac Tresco. Straight out of Hartland, Utah.
Coming up next for the men, Ben Isaac Tresco. Definitely a threat to make finals. 19-year-old climber out of Utah. Been climbing for 9 years. Made finals at the Youth World Championships twice in the last 5 years. Would not be surprised to see him push it very high on the semifinals route.
I wouldn't either. You know, we after Sika Block last year, Brian, when Ben actually seemed to do really well, I saw him in Las Vegas at a climbing gym a few months ago. He was training for the Bouldering Nationals, and God, it was insane what he was doing. Definitely out climbing a lot of his peers who are also really strong.
Yeah, Ben's another one of those very seasoned youth competitors.
Super nice guy, too. I really appreciate that in these competitors.
Online to lt11.tv.
Scoring for the semifinal round and all rounds. It's very simple. Competitors get credit for the highest hold they reach. And they do get credit for each clip, as Chris said. They also can get fractional amounts of points for positive movement towards the next hold in sequence and also for touching the next hold. So there is a little bit of minutia in there, but overall, the highest hold they control is the main factor in who gets to move on into finals tonight. We'll have some live scoring updates as they're warranted here. Just getting started.
And coming up next for the ladies on the left-hand side, doing the name, we have Nadia Baratnikova.
Wow, Ben is hiking.
Ben Isaac Tresco looking strong.
This is where Josh Larson kind of stalled out. We'll see if Ben can. Very smart to pull his left hand underneath like that. That's where Josh just kept pulling with the right arm and just kind of gassed himself. Ben looking very solid. Even getting a rest right there.
Yeah. And just starting up on the left side of the wall there is Nadia Farotnikova, the sister of...
Vasya Baratnikov.
That's right, the sister of Vasya Farotnikov. She's 25 years old, youth national champion in sport climbing twice, as she puts it, way too long ago. She's interested in laughing, dog petting, and Bernie Sanders. That's what we got on Nadia. I'm excited to see her climb, because if she has any of the genes that Vasya has, which she does technically, this is going to be great. I've never seen her climb before.
You see Ben well past high point on so far in men's semifinal. Looking very smooth so far, getting a rest before attacking this final head wall. Still got a lot of moves left though before he can get to the anchors.
Yeah, you were right, Brian. These routes are very involved. I mean, these climbers will be on the wall for many minutes. What a completely different story than other comps.
Really nice route rating from Ben Tresco, using all of the tools in his tool set here. The toe hook, pulling into the wall. That's going to be it for Ben Tresco. High point so far in men's semifinal.
Excellent effort.
Great job by him. Put him in first place thus far out of the first 4 climbers. Still 20 to come, though, including our reigning national champion, Kai Leitner, qualified in 6th position yesterday.
It's a great shot of Nadia Faratnikova. Third of the way up the route. These holds just do not look good enough to be taking as much time as some of these competitors are. It's really amazing, just a testament to their strength.
Well, the women's route gets really steep really quickly on the far left side of this wall here. And we see Nadia slotting her knee in there.
Yeah.
Copping a little rest. I think as a competitor, you can kind of look ahead and see that this probably is going to be the last time that you're going to be able to hang out, possibly until the end of the route. So I think we'll see a lot of competitors here take their time.
Yeah. And it's such an obvious rest as a knee bar. You really got to take advantage of that. Nadia is from Texas. Climbs at the Austin Rock Gym.
People, I think that's really important to keep in mind as you watch these competitors. They are all vying for the title of national champion, but they also love what they do. They are all having fun. They are all having a blast and giving it their all.
Gotta climb down to climb up.
That's right. Trying to milk another knee bar. My kind of gal.
That's where it really starts to get difficult, though.
I'm going to try for a quick scoring update when she falls.
Nice. Getting creative on women's semifinal route. Nadia Faratnikova going upside down.
Oh, she just kind of paused a little bit, and that cost her. Nadia Faratnikova. Excellent work as we get a quick scoring update with our first 3 scores in for the men. Josh Larson, we do know that he's already been bested by Ben Isaac Tresco.
Switch over to the women.
As we switch over to the women, Olivia Roy out in front right now.
And Becky Switzer.
All right, and that's it.
In third.
On the wall now for the men, Sam Enright, a 17-year-old climber out of Reading, Massachusetts. Sam's been climbing for 8 years. Has no interest, he claims. Climbing is life.
Isn't it, though?
Sam placed 4th at Youth Nationals a few years back. He's climbed the Mandala out in Bishop. Legendary Chris Sharma boulder problem. It's definitely one for the life list.
Sam is 6'1". We'll see how much height has to do with this route here. We know the route setters, of course, do their best to make routes accessible to anyone of all heights. I always like to see, though, the difference in competitor size. Oh, and that was a surprise. Surprise fall. He looked really relaxed.
Yeah, you can tell he just wasn't expecting that. Sport climbing's weird like that in these comps. You can just be in the flow in one moment, and the next moment you're hanging on the rope on the ground and you don't know what happened.
That's right.
It's not
and you can't just get back on. I mean, that's it.
Definitely going to be disappointing for Sam Enright. Great to see him out here, though, at Rope Nationals. He knows he could have done better. But that's how it goes sometimes out here.
You can see our next female competitor, 16-year-old Sophia Kwan. She was just miming the moves. Taking one more look at the route. She's from Plano, Texas, and has been climbing for 5 years. Interested in running and yoga. 2 activities that seem to go quite well with climbing.
You might have noticed the table set up on the way in, labeled the Rugby Climbers Association. We all know about rugby, but what we don't know is that the RCA is hard at work all the time, making sure that we are able to climb there and keeping things fresh. Just recently they purchased the Final Frontier, which was private land featuring 5 or 6 crags in the upper portion of rugby. Make sure to go over and talk to Dave. They are taking donations and giving out information about what the RCA is doing.
Reminder that you can join the conversation on social media this weekend with the hashtag USAC Sport Speed. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, there or in the chat room on YouTube. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Shout out to Sierra Blair Coyle, who's out there watching. Thanks for tuning in.
Sophia's home gym is Summit Climbing in Texas, and she lists as her home crag the Red. She must make that a school break trip or something.
It's right in the neighborhood.
That's right. In America, it sure is. It's less than a 14-hour drive. It's a home crag.
No hesitation at all. Except for there. Nice recovery from Sophia Kwan.
And of course, the way these competitors are routed here, they are coming out in reverse order of how they finished in qualifiers. So we're seeing competitors theoretically getting better and better the whole time. And so far, that's actually seeming to be how it's working out pretty much. It's always exciting to see where perhaps less seasoned competitors are struggling at the beginning, and then later on how they're not even challenging moves for the best.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see a wide array of performances on these routes. It's kind of the cool thing about the showcase that we have here is you just see, the incredible talent that these climbers have.
Yep. A lot of options on this weird section of wall. That single volume can be grabbed in any number of ways.
Over here on the men's side, we have Remy Arata, climber out of Boulder, Colorado. 19-year-old climber who's been climbing for 7 years.
Oh, well, and there goes Sophia Kwan.
Remy's another Team ABC product. Not be surprising to see him do well here at all. Can't really tell from this angle, but that section of the wall is getting pretty steep, as we can see. A little bit better from here. I think overall it's just a very taxing route for the men here. Not seeing the same kinds of rests that the women have available to them on the section of the route that we've seen thus far.
Oh,
Remy
yeah,
Rodden not able to pull that move in.
That part looks so heinous.
Scoring update. Scoring update coming up. Scoring update chat. All right, scoring update coming up right now.
Score so far for the women, Nadia Bratnikova out in front through 5 climbers. For the women.
All right, switching over to the men.
And for the men, Ben Tresco, not surprisingly, well out in front. Clear high point so far on the men's route. Several moves ahead of his nearest competitor. See how that holds up for him. Remember, we're trying to take roughly the top 8 to finals. It does get complicated just because of certain special circumstances that we will talk more about as they come up.
That's right. Stepping onto the floor beneath the women's semifinal route is Suzu Jeffrey. She's from Denver, Colorado. And at 23 years old, Suzu Jeffrey, believe it or not, is the second oldest female competitor here today and in the qualifiers yesterday. 23 years old is the new old age, at least for the ladies. Suzu is also into yoga and running, as well as snowboarding and travel.
People, you have to keep in mind as these climbers are on the wall. They want to hear your voice. If you are here supporting these climbers, then let them know it. Cheer them on. Get them up the wall. You are the missing piece. They get pumped. They get amped when they hear you cheer.
Suzu's been climbing for 11 years, since she was 12 years old. Nice. Kind of floating that move that gave several of the other women difficulty.
Yeah, she's looking very smooth as we get our next male competitor out on the wall, Solomon Barth, Collegeville, Pennsylvania. Been climbing since he was 8 years old. 18 years old now. Former youth national bouldering champion and rope climbing continental champion. Extremely decorated youth competitor.
Oh, and Suzu's melting off the volume that's giving everyone fits.
Definitely one of those crux points that I would expect to see some of our higher qualifiers not have a problem with. See how that develops as we check back in with Solomon Barth here on his semifinal route.
I'm really excited to see a guy get through this section.
It's been a fun section to watch, actually. It's like a sort of micro crux. Different climbers have had different levels of success just on these few moves. It's kind of one of the interesting aspects of climbing. Everybody can have a slightly different way, as we see Solomon do the method that has worked well for other competitors. No one way to two climbing.
Oh, jeez.
Solomon Barth taking the ride on men's semifinal. Usually doesn't end well if you lose your feet like that, Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks cool.
It's worth mentioning that some of these competitors have, I don't know, they just climbed in qualifiers like 14 or 15 hours ago. It's like they're climbing a lot yesterday, warming up, doing 2 routes, and then first thing, they're at it again. So yeah, this is a rough weekend for these competitors. It's pretty cool. That's Georgia Bank. She's 15 years old from Brooklyn, New York. She's been climbing for 5 years. She was recently second at the Bouldering Youth Nationals.
This would definitely be her first adult nationals.
Yep.
Must be 16 this year to qualify to compete in the event. Coming out next for the men, Garrett Greger, 29-year-old climber out of Boulder, Colorado. Garrett's always really fun to watch. He's been climbing for 14 years. Took 4th at Bouldering Nationals in 2013. Interested in the perplexes. I'm going to have to Google that.
Nice job up there.
Garrett and Georgia both getting off the ground here on their respective semifinals routes. And we're joined in the booth by somebody you just saw competing out there, Josh Larson. Josh, step up to that microphone, sir. Welcome.
How you doing, Brian?
Good.
How you doing, Chris?
Doing well, Josh. Great to see you. Great to have you in here.
Thanks, man.
Wow, so you put in an awesome performance out there. How did it feel, this route?
The route felt good. Definitely progressive. Definitely progressive. It really started off pretty chill, and then as soon as you went over those 2 like double purple barrels, the hold started getting really bad.
Nice.
So yeah, as soon as you got past the purple barrels, the hold started getting much more progressive and not in-cut and slopey. And yeah, I thought it was a good route, and I climbed until I was pumped. No mistakes today.
Awesome. So you feel good about how you did?
Yeah. I would have liked to have obviously gone a bit further and not feel as pumped so soon, because I know that's definitely not what you need for the next round. But I'm happy with what I did for what I put in for the event.
Awesome,
Yeah.
Josh. Yeah, it's always awesome to see you climb. I love it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's good to see, people over the age of 20 climbing, isn't it?
I know, that's actually one of the themes we've been talking about here, because at least for the ladies, we just got to watch Suzu Jeffrey, the second oldest competitor at 23 years old for women anyway.
Yeah.
And you're only one of, there's only like 4 guys who are in their 30s, and you're...
I think I'm the only one in their 30s. I don't know.
In semis.
In semis.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Austin Guyman. He's 29 and 3/4.
in 3/4. Yep. I think we had 4 guys in their 30s yesterday, but yeah, you're the only one today, huh?
Muhammad, actually. Mohammed
Jafari, that's right.
That's right. So yeah, it's cool to it's definitely motivation, when you get these other older guys that are still pushing it and crushing and always pushing each other. It's really fun. It's a good.
That's awesome.
Good feelings.
Well,
and
cool.
Garrett's up there too in his age, isn't he?
Yeah. What is he? 29.
29. Oh my goodness. Garrett's jumping around on
Garrett
pinches.
He's very young, 29 though.
Yeah, can you describe, Josh, what those holds are like right there?
So the one in his left hand is good, but this move right here is probably the first hardest move, getting out to that left purple hold. And, and here is nice. You get a little breather you can clip, but you need to get a false grip like Garrett is right there with his left hand. And yeah, it's just, I think it's an interesting sequence to just kind of tax your biceps just a little bit more. That's really awesome. Nice move, Garrett. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Yeah, these purple holds are deceiving because they all kind of look the same.
Oh.
Nice, Garrett. They all kind of look the same, but they're all different in a sense, So you don't really know what it's like until you grab it.
Let's take a
which
look
is
at the scores real
fun
quick, guys.
experience.
So we got a quick update on the scores here through 7 female competitors. Nadia Brotenkova still out in front right now. Sophia Kwan in second. Suzu Jeffrey in third place. As we check out the men, Ben Isaac Tresco still well out in front. Solomon Barth in second place. Josh Larson in the booth right now in fourth place.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to kill it.
So excited.
Well, they could take up to 12.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, I don't
So-
think that's even 12th though.
So telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, yeah, there is a chance.
Right now we're looking at Adriana Jacobson. She's 17 years old, local favorite from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Among many accomplishments, she just was accepted into MIT.
Yes.
That's strong.
Adriana's been on my climbing team in Boston, or the team I used to coach in Boston, Metro Rock, and I've seen her grow up from 12 years old to the girl that's now going to MIT. So it's been a fun
awesome.
process to see her. Such a strong, talented climber, and yeah, I think she prefers boulders, but it's good to see her out here on the ropes.
Yeah, definitely.
And semis, killing it.
What do you expect to see from her in the next couple of years?
Maybe running for president soon.
Yeah.
She's going to MIT. Anybody
right.
can run for president, you know?
Why not?
I don't know. Yeah, she'll be a Boston local for a while, so maybe she'll coach Metro Rock team one day. It's a cool angle right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
It looks like she's a fast speed climber as well, from
She
what I
is.
have in my notes.
yeah, she's a powerful boulderer. She loves to she's always on the fast twitch side of things, so that pays off for sure in speed, obviously. But yeah,
Over on the men's route, we have Lucas Kippel, 15-year-old climber out of Seattle, Washington. Only been climbing for 4 years, one of our youngest male competitors. He's placed well at the World Championships the last couple of years.
Adriana now kind of fighting with the infamous volume that has now spit off virtually every female, actually every single one who's gotten there so far.
yeah, she just spun all the way around that thing. She had her feet on it. Now her hands are like she's completely done a 360 on this hold.
Trying to find the best parts of that hold.
Come on, Adriana. Oh,
Oh, wow. Proving to be a toughie here. We're almost, gosh, we're already getting to almost halfway through the field, and no woman has gotten even to the halfway point on the route.
yikes.
Crazy.
Yeah, and Ben Tresco's looking good too. He
Yeah.
cruising.
He's definitely looking good for finals. We'll see how that goes. Josh, what do you make of the men's field? Got two young kids up in first place after qualifiers, Drew Rana and Sean Bailey.
Yeah. Man, I've seen those kids in the youth, for the past, I don't know, however long they've been competing, and it's just
Forever.
Forever, yeah. And just to see them here with the adults, finally, I think they're proving that they've had it the whole time, and it's cool to see them on the adult circuit now. Yeah, I think they're light and their endurance just is endless, I think. Yeah. From watching them yesterday, it was really just I think a hard move at the end of a couple the blue route in qualifiers. That was the only thing that stopped them, was just a hard move. Everything else is just they were on it with their endurance. Lucas here too from Vertical World, the same team from those other boys, is good climber as well.
Yeah, they have a great program up there.
Yeah.
See a lot of Vertical World competitors here this weekend.
Shout out to Tyson.
Big time for Tyson Shaney. A long time ago, me and Tyson actually competed together in a comp in Vancouver, BC.
Nice.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Did Tyson take you? You gonna say it on air?
Oh yeah. Tyson totally took me. Yeah,
man.
For sure. Yeah, he's. I mean, he still climbs hard, from what I understand. But I mean, when he was climbing every day, he was unstoppable.
Killer.
Men's scores.
Another quick check on the men's scores through 8 competitors. Ben Isaac Tresco in first place, still Garrett Greger moving into second place. Solomon Barth in third. Looking at the women's scores, still Nadia Bratnikova, followed by Sophia Kwan.
Looks good, guys. Killing it.
I think Adriana Jacobson will be right up there near the leaders at this point, with our top qualifiers still to come here at the 2016 USAC Sport and Speed National Championships at the Central Rock Gym in Watertown, Massachusetts. Brian Reynolds, Chris Widener, and Josh Larson in the booth right now, taking in the action.
That's it. And Lily Canavan is now starting up. 17-year-old local here from Newton, Massachusetts, that is. She has really put in some strong performances in bouldering comps this year. Dark Horse champion, Iron Maiden bouldering champion, Tour de Bloc champion.
Yeah.
God, what else? You know.
This is another Metro Rock girl, and just the same thing with Adriana. These two, you can't split them apart. It's amazing to see these two girls come up in the world of climbing, and yeah, Lily is just motivated. She always wants to climb, always wants to be doing something proactive towards climbing, and it pays off.
That's awesome. Does she do that many sport comps? Or
she does the sports season as the youth for USA Climbing, but that's about it. You know, there's probably 3 on-site comps in the youth, and then you have 1 on-site comp for the adults, and that's about it.
Out on the wall for the men now, Muhammad Jafari, 32-year-old climber, lives right now in Golden, Colorado, but originally from Iran. Won bouldering nationals last year in surprising fashion, to say the least.
Yeah.
Really strong climber.
So from what you know of Lily, Josh, does she mostly train bouldering, or does she train kind of half and half? What does she do?
I think right now, this part of the season, she's doing a bit of half and half, just so she can, you know, win the Tour de Bloc series up in Montreal. And I think this comp here is she's going to be starting the transition full on to ropes. That's my guess, at least. Like I said, I don't coach the team anymore, but
sure.
Seems like she's going to be making the transition.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Gosh,
this is such
brutal.
a battle here.
Yeah.
Come on, Lily.
See if Lily can be the
She's
first
looking
female
real
competitor
chill
to
right there.
push through this section.
Come on, Lily.
See a number
There we
of
go.
women stall
There we
out
go.
right
Come
here.
on, girl. Oh, wow.
wow.
What a
Real
move.
Great
That
effort
is
from Lily Canavan.
Just.
My hands are
Brutal.
so sweaty right now.
I know, actually.
You guys have commentator chalk bags up here?
You.
Dude, look
That's
at this.
Yeah, you have chalk on your hands and they're still sweating. Me and Brian, gosh, we don't even have chalk.
That's a niche market, but you should look into that. With that, Josh, I want to thank you for stopping by. We'll let you go dry your hands off a little bit and
Cool, thanks.
go cheer on some of these guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for stopping by.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Great
See
to
ya.
see you.
Thanks to Josh Larson for stopping by as Muhammad Jafari makes his way up men's semifinal. We're about halfway through the running order for the men and the women at this point. Still with our top qualifiers to come, defending national champions Delaney Miller and Kai Leitner coming up very soon. Not going to want to miss that. Three-time defending national champion Delaney Miller at that. See if anybody can beat her this year. Muhammad Jafari just misses that hold. It's been really fun to see him compete the last few years here.
Both of these routes for the men and the women sure are causing trouble. I'm excited to see some folks get past these boundaries.
It's all part of the process, Chris.
That's right, Brian.
It is a difficult task, though. The route setters, they have to set a route that can evenly separate 24 competitors. Try and get us our list of finalists. Difficult task. They've done a great job all weekend.
Scoring update real quick.
Get another quick update of our standings at this point through 9 female competitors. Adriana Jacobson tied, actually just in front of Nadia Borotnikova right there. Sophia Kwan in 3rd place. For the men, Ben Isaac Tresco still out in front through 9 competitors. Would not be surprised to see him make it into finals at this point. That is a very good score so far. Garrett Greger and Solomon Barth rounding out the top 3 at this point.
Killing it.
From Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Carrie Scott is stepping up to the wall. 19 years old, she's been climbing for over half of her life. She placed second 2 years ago in the Youth Bouldering Nationals. And she's interested in math, Brian, exclamation point.
Noticing a lot of smart people out here.
Yeah.
Out on the wall for the men, that's Gentry Cole out of Argyle, Texas, a 17-year-old climber. Another seasoned youth competitors with several great results over the past few years. Loves math competitions. Guessing they're a little different than what you're seeing here this weekend.
Carrie Scott is beyond middle-aged for this comp in the women. She's 19, as I said. Hard to believe that that's above the median age here, but it is. Such a sick angle.
Still looking for our first female competitor to push through this mid-route crux here, just to the left of that North Face logo.
Nice sponsor plug there, Brian.
Gentry, another Team Texas protege, another youth climbing powerhouse.
Carrie Scott there in the background, looking relaxed so far, perhaps more relaxed than any other competitor yet. I really hope we get to see her solve this math puzzle, as it were, of geometric shapes.
As we saw Gentry Cole come off there for the men. It's a good point, Chris. I think we've seen some of the women, they're very comfortable at this point of the route, but then they get onto the next section and they kind of lose focus, or they just kind of get pushed out of their comfort zone, and they're just not able to push through this difficult section.
You can see her eyes and her mind kind of working there. She's solving a math problem. But in this format of competition, when this is the very first time you've ever touched these holds, it's a math problem with unknown variables, because you can guess what that hold's going to feel like, or guess where the best part to grab is, but you really don't know.
Yeah, the competitors have a lot of experience sort of feeling their way through these types of moves, and that's really what it takes to sort these situations out. You might have one idea when you're on the ground as to how you're going to attack a section like this, but things can definitely change once you're up on the wall. You're starting to get upside down. Things start to get a little weird.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed these competitors don't seem to be concerned about any kind of time limit or anything. Honestly, I'm not sure about that. We're going to check in and give you the answer on that, what the time limit is, if there is one. But none of them seem rushed. So
moving through the rest now into the section where we've seen a lot of the women start to struggle. No.
Oh, just bear hugging that volume for all she is worth. That was an excellent effort by Carrie Scott.
Stepping up for the men, longtime competitor Austin Guyman out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. 28-year-old competitor, been climbing for 15 years. He's made finals at Bouldering Nationals a couple times over the years. Looking to push through at Rope Nationals. Would not be surprised to see Austin Guyman make finals. did confirm that there is no time limit for the competitors, so no rush. Get all the climbing you want. It's pretty much just a buffet of sport climbing out there today. As we're joined in the booth by Nadia Vorotnikova. Nadia, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you in here, Nadia. Thanks. So what we're seeing so far is all of the women are struggling on that one volume right in the middle. What can you tell us about it?
Well, it's a lot of really fun movement up to there, and on that volume, it seems like it's sloping down a little bit, and if you don't get it quite securely, I was able to kind of hug my legs over it a little bit, and it felt pretty good, kind of moving my feet over and then getting that next hold and then switching my feet over. I feel like that's the sequence, but flipping my hand at that part would probably have been a better way to go to kind of dead point to that next move. But what I'm seeing is the other climbers seem to be having the same issue that I had, where they're either getting a little bit pumped out or a little bit nervous about making that next move.
Yeah, awesome.
See Austin Guyman making his way up there. We have our next female competitor on the wall. Chris, who are we looking at here?
We're looking at Julia Talbot, a 16-year-old from Florence, Massachusetts. 5'1", at least of the last measurement we've gotten. So that'll be interesting to see, because it sure looks like that middle span is wide. What do you think, Nadia? Is the way to go that right hand twice to that green hold?
I think that's definitely the way to go, because that sets up the next sequence, going left hand for that side pull. So yeah, and Julia's looking really strong. I watched her yesterday during the flash format, and I think she could definitely get it.
Awesome. She looks taller than 5'1" now, maybe.
5'1" and 3/4.
And Nadia, when you guys were previewing the route, is this a section you guys kind of talked about as being a little bit difficult looking?
Honestly, I was concerned about the beginning section, because the beginning section looks pretty delicate, and there's quite a few slopers there, but once I got on the wall, they actually felt pretty positive. So once I started to keep going, I was just psyched. But that was definitely a nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
That was a smart move. I was looking at Julia earlier, thinking she must have injured her knee, but no, that was just smart strategy by her, putting that tape on for the knee bar.
She's making that look super casual. No hands rest.
So yeah, most of the women look pretty chill to here, and then it's on.
Yes. I mean, getting your feet up over your head and heel hooking. She looks super casual. I think she's gonna make that move. She looks really relaxed.
Yeah.
Go Julia.
And as we did find out, Brian mentioned already, there actually is no time limit, so she can chill at that knee bar as long as she needs.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, she's looking strong. Look at her, she's chalking up on that hold.
Julia on the left coming out of that rest and into that middle section.
Come on, Julia.
It looks so challenging to keep the feet on for these.
Yeah, there we go.
High point for the women.
Oh yeah.
It's on.
We've been waiting to see this.
Really nice.
A smile on her face. You know that she's happy with that. Some of these clips have been proving difficult, at least in yesterday's qualifier. I feel like those long slings just aren't heavy enough. Maybe if they had the dog bones instead.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And kind of bumping my head on some of them too.
Yeah.
Great effort
She
from
did
Julia
great.
Talbot. Well out in front at this point for the women. Great job by her.
That was awesome.
That was sick.
Let's get another scoring update shot.
And yeah, she is very happy with that. You can tell.
So we're waiting for our next male competitor to step up. We'll get an update of the scores here. Lily Canavan, Adriana Jacobson, Nadia Bratnikova in the top 3 at this point, but we know that Julia will be in first place once her scores get in there for the men. Ben Isaac Tresco putting up a very impressive score here early in semifinals. Out in front so far for the men.
All right, we're going to kill it.
Up next for the men, Augie Cohn, 22-year-old climber from Englewood, Colorado.
Go, Augie!
Just because he lives in Colorado, though, doesn't mean he doesn't love the Boston Rock Gym and Romney.
He's also shown a strong presence in the boulders of Las Vegas as well over the last several years.
Yep.
Taking a no-hands knee bar, apparently for fun, it looks like, anyway.
It's never too early to rest, Chris.
Well, that's my theory. I mean, I don't know.
I think if you can get a knee bar, you should get a knee bar, no matter where it's at.
I'm with
just
you.
for fun.
I strap on my pads for slabs when I'm climbing, just in case.
Just for the way down.
For training.
That's it. I want to say Augie Cohn has like gotten a lot buffer in the last couple of years.
Absolutely. I think he's climbing a lot more powerfully ever since he moved out to Colorado. I think he's done a lot better regarding that, and I think that's what the roots. You kind of need to be a more powerful climber for these sport routes. So
yeah,
it's exciting to see how he does.
Well, one look here at Brian Runnels next to me. After he moved to Colorado, he got swole.
Yeah, I just had to move back to Wisconsin. It was just too much. Shirts didn't fit
Too
anymore.
much swole.
Couldn't afford all the new shirts. Augie Cohn trying to overcome the high point set by Ben Tresco earlier in the semifinal round. Ben qualified in 20th place, but he is in first place right now. 21st place, actually.
Yeah, I remember when Augie was just not that big. I mean, it looks like he's gained like 15 or 20 pounds of muscle, and it's apparently paying off here because he looks so strong and lean.
I remember when Augie was shorter than me, so.
And how tall are you?
5'1" 3/4.
Nice.
As Josh said earlier, excuse me, Nadia, this is sort of the section where the men's route starts to get more difficult.
Yeah, it was fun having Josh here kind of explain what these holds feel like, and needless to say, it's heinous.
Augie Cohn skipping moves.
Oh!
Not able to put it together. Nice work by Augie Cohn.
We're looking at Victoria Perkins, a 17-year-old from Alpharetta, Georgia. Says she's only been climbing for 3 years.
That's incredible.
Nadia, thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate your help commenting on the women's route.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, best of
Great
luck.
job
Thank
out there.
Thank you.
Thanks to Nadia Bratnikova for stopping by. She is definitely in the mix for finals tonight. In the top 5 right now. We just saw Julia Talbot show us the way here on the women's semifinal. We'll see if Victoria can have similar success.
This is apparently the first hard move on this route. Victoria just solved it with a right hand instead of a left, like almost every other competitor. Let's see if she finds that knee bar rest, which proved crucial for Julia's success.
It's interesting that we've seen a number of the competitors use the knee bar and get a rest, but then just they sort of melt off the next hold right away.
Yeah.
You see Victoria not finding that knee bar. As Chris pointed out, she is has a little bit less experience than some of the other competitors here. She still looks very solid. Trying to find one there.
Ooh.
That'll work.
She looks tall enough to get the elusive right knee bar, which several of our ladies have so far attempted. And she seems to be the first person with a long enough tib fib to fit.
Victoria Perkins trying to power through this. No, she decides to readjust her hands after feeling the next hold. Not quite sure what to make of this. Not quite able to reel it in for Victoria Perkins. Great effort from her, though. It's a spot we've seen many of the women struggle so far. As we get our next male competitor on the wall, Jesse Grouper, we're going to welcome in current first place competitor, Ben Isaac Tresco. Ben, welcome to the booth, sir.
Hi, how's it going?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
How did things feel out there for you?
They felt pretty good. They felt better than yesterday. I mean, I'm happy to get a second chance. I was really sick yesterday, so
bummer.
And feeling a bit better today, so that's all I really can ask for.
Well, you sure look great out there.
Thanks.
Currently, I believe you are in first place. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome to watch.
Thanks.
Can you describe for us what is going on here with the men's route?
Yeah, so the beginning of this route's actually like not extremely difficult. It's just a little bit tricky. All those pipes are pretty good, but then the second you get to that big black volume with those two large purple holds on it, it starts to get really, really intense. The holds, like some of the holds are pretty good and some of them are really bad. It sort of alternates between good and bad holds. And then there's a really tricky sequence to get across those volumes up there with no feet. So
wow.
It's a pretty hard boulder problem right off of the easy climbing at the beginning.
Do you feel like you read it right and you just, either pumped off or whatever, or did you make a mistake?
I felt like I read it generally correctly. I think it would be possible to actually do cheat the sequence, do it a little bit more easily. Riding the tow hook out, if you could get the tow hook onto the actual hold of the wall, and then go again with your right hand instead of trying to come down and match the holds low. But I do believe that the way I tried it was the intended sequence. Just letting the foot rip is extremely difficult.
Sure.
It was the hardest move on the route was the foot move that I yelled on a little bit.
Yeah.
Looking at Jesse Grouper, our second place finisher last year. Jesse went on to finish second at Youth Worlds last year as well, so not be surprising to see him make it into finals here. Kind of came out of nowhere for us last year, Chris, his first year on the adult national scene, but really no surprise to people that have been following the youth scene.
This is his kind of last respite before the intensity, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah, so basically at this point, you have to, the route starts really turning up. The hold he's on is surprisingly bad. Jesse's looking casual on it, but it really was. It was a surprise when I grabbed it, and it turned out to be pretty awful. Then there's you can just get a series of short shakes. Every time you grab a hold, you just want to try to get as much back as you can.
Okay.
Really dig in with your feet and use your heels. But
nice.
Yeah, Jesse's climbing through a pretty difficult section right now. Keeping your feet on really helps. Nice, looking strong.
Oh, he almost bobbled that move. Able to reel it in, though.
So this next section is where you said you could keep a right toe hook on?
So, no. So this section right here. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Jesse's skipping the hold
Just
there.
like Augie Cohn did.
Good beta.
See if he can reel in this move. This is where Augie
Yeah,
not
so
able
this,
to do it. Wow. That's strong.
Where Jesse is right now, the hold that you're on is actually pretty good on the volume.
Okay.
But after he makes his next left hand move is the section that I think you can keep that toe hook and ride it all the way out.
Got it. Got it.
Jesse Grouper approaching Ben's high point.
Meanwhile, there's Audrey Miller climbing on the left side of the wall, a 16-year-old from Decatur, Georgia. She's only been climbing for 6 years, and she's been in a bunch of comps, placing quite high in the top 10. .55 with a +3 ape index. Audrey Miller.
And Ben, when you're at a section like Jesse is right now, how do you decide how long you're going to rest there versus keep going?
I think that's one of the most tricky things in climbing is you never really know. You just have to feel your body, and you've done it so many times in the training sessions that you know when you go over that point of getting it back versus versus having to keep moving. See, I think he's gonna do what I was talking about and try to, see that?
Got it.
Much better beta from Jesse.
Nice.
Great work from Jesse Grouper.
And meanwhile, Audrey Miller has grabbed the elusive right handhold for the women. She's only the second woman to pass that point. Oh, and she does fall off soon after, but that was the second high point for the ladies. Awesome.
Back on Jesse Grouper finding another rest.
It's amazing how long this men's finals route or semifinals route is taking to climb.
Yeah, they did a really interesting job of snaking it all around and making sure that the moves don't flow together very well. So you have to you have to take a lot of time. Every move is uncomfortable, so you have to take a lot of time on each individual move, I think.
So it's basically the kind of route that you would never want to do outside.
Yeah, the competition routes, it's like a pretty big misconception that they should be fun or easy. But they almost never are. They're made. The setters intend to make them the most awkward, tricky things possible to try to knock competitors off.
Oh, that's that's funny.
They're not very fun at all to climb usually. Excellent
insight. I love that. Yeah. So the best comp routes are the worst outdoor routes.
Exactly. They would get maybe would get 3 stars, but usually not.
Yeah.
All right, looks like a scoring.
Great performance by Jesse Grouper there. I think that's going to put him out in first place. Eclipsing our guest, Ben Tresco. See him there in first place. Still waiting Jesse's score to be entered. But how do you like your chances for finals at this point, Ben?
Sorry?
How do you like your chances for finals at this point?
I mean, it's really hard to say. There's a ton of strong climbers to come, and we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. It's always a rough waiting game.
Yeah. Did you get kind of nervous waiting to see what happens? Or
I get really terrified. I'm one of the most paranoid results watchers, I'd say.
Now,
so,
I've run into you a few different times, and I'd say you're a really nice guy. But do you ever find yourself, as you're watching the rest of the competitors, wishing secretly that they're going to fall off early?
I mean, I think everyone does a little bit. There's some part of you that just really, it is a competition, and there's some part of you that really wants to make it as far as you can. And,
sure.
But, it's especially, climbing's an interesting sport where you do really want everyone to do as well as possible. And so, I don't know, I think it's pretty special in that way, where generally speaking, we usually want our climbers to do well and put on a good show.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique sport in that aspect. How you do doesn't really have any bearing on how anybody else does. There's no direct competition in that sense where you're what you do can keep somebody else from doing well as well. So
yeah, it's really nice, kind of as opposed to the qualification rounds that are based on ranking, where someone's place can actually really affect your placement.
Sure.
And so it's really nice when it's just you and the wall and how many holds you get. It's very simple. So.
Yep. Well, Ben, thanks so much for being with us. I really appreciate it. Great
no
job
problem.
out there. Good luck getting to
Thank
finals.
You so much.
Yeah, best of luck to you, Ben. Thank you so much for stopping by. Big thanks to Ben Isaac Tresco for stopping by the booth.
That was awesome.
Always great to get the insight of the competitors, especially right after they've climbed while it's fresh on their minds.
That's it, yeah. And here's Zoe Steinberg. She's 20 years old from Ramsey, New Jersey. She was first place, actually, in Bouldering Nationals way back now in 2011. 5th place in last year's Dark Horse Finals as well, bouldering competition.
Out on the wall for the men, 20-year-old Andrew Nimmer out of Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Been climbing for 12 years. Loves climbing in Adventure Rock, as do I. Known Andrew for many years.
Yes, one of your disciples.
Likes to make Instagram accounts for pets. He did not learn that from me.
Zoe here is a neuroscience student at Temple University. Yeah, what's up with all these like smart math and science people?
I don't know. I think it might be the attraction. You know, team sports versus climbing is more individual sport. Might be something to that. Something for them, these kids to study when they're at MIT or Temple.
That's right. Zoe was also in second place at last year's Youth Nationals for bouldering. So, yeah, Zoe is quite a decorated competitor. And we have seen her climb a bunch in the last few years. So this will be great to see how she approaches this volume that now only 2 women have gotten past.
You see her just kind of measuring the next moves, reading them. Now that she's up near the hole, she can get a better vantage point, better feeling for the angle. It's a little bit difficult when you're standing back where they're doing the route previews to get a sense for how the angle is going to play into these moves. She's ready to attack, though. Just wrestling with that hold.
Come on.
So hill grips. Always tricky for Zoe Steinberg. Just like that, it's over. For the men, Andrew Nimmer has finished in the top 15 at Rope Nationals the last couple years. He's looking for his first visit to finals. No, he would love to make it through to the next round. Qualified in 10th position for semifinals here today, so if he can maintain that position, be right in the mix for finals. Looking very solid so far. I know he's been training a lot for this. Although it's not cool to say that you've been training for Rope Nationals, Chris. We learned that this weekend.
That's right. Yeah, all of these closet trainers.
Yeah,
oh yeah, no, I haven't been doing anything at all.
It's not cool on Instagram to talk about training for rope climbing. Andrew looking very solid, though.
And all that's because of you, Brian.
Thank you, Chris. Andrew just piecing this together.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Getting very close to the high point set by Ben Tresco and Jesse Grouper. Jesse, first place. As we watch Andrew here on the top of the men's semifinal, we're joined in the booth by Julia Talbot. Julia,
Hello.
welcome.
Hi.
Congratulations on such a great performance in the semifinals route there.
That climb was like so much fun. It was ridiculous. I was like, yes! So many good holds. I was excited.
That was awesome how you
Yeah.
finally solved that. You were the first person to get through that.
Yeah.
And we did, of course, notice that you taped your knee. I was wondering
Yeah.
if you were injured, but
I have so many questions. So many people have asked me about that.
that
It's
was really
ridiculous. Yeah.
smart foresight there.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
work.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Look at the scores.
Looks like you're in first place so far. Julia Talbot, Audrey Miller in second, Victoria Perkins in third so far.
Yeah.
For the men, Jesse Grouper out in front as we expected there. Ben Isaac Tresco in second place, Garrett Greger in third, and a logjam of men behind them. Andrew will probably be in third position after that, so he's right in the mix for finals.
Grace McKeon now starting up the wall. She's an 18-year-old from Frisco, Texas, a regular high finisher at all of these events. She was the 2015 overall Sport and Speed Youth World Champion for 16 and 17-year-old females. And since we've got you here, Julia, why don't you tell us a little about the female route? What's going on with where Grace is right now?
Well, right now, the hold that she's on right now is actually really good. I was really scared to go up to that hold because of the volumes, and I don't trust my feet on volumes whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I was happy to find a good hold. The next few holds are actually really good, even though they're bubbies. Bubbies are one of my not best holds. Those things scare me a little bit.
Yep.
But you recognize the holds before you even get on it.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot. I find a lot of bubbies at my gym. I don't like it. I'm gonna say that right now. It's not my favorite.
Yeah. And so this next hold looks kind of rough. It looks pretty slopey.
Yeah. I was a little scared to move off of that. I was wondering if I should bump or cross over to it.
Yeah, a lot of everybody seems to be wondering.
Yeah.
Grace just made it look super
I
easy.
was gonna say, oh my god.
And then why don't you tell us about what she's about to face with that cylindrical volume?
Hopefully she gets a knee bar. I want her to rest. I want her to like beat me so badly. Oh, come on. Oh, she's all right.
Why do you want her to beat you so badly?
She's so strong. She deserves it. She's like ridiculous. Every single female who's gonna come out is like so ridiculously strong, and I couldn't even I'd feel so bad. I just want her to do so well.
Now let's be honest. You want to make it to finals, don't you?
I mean, I do, yes, but I would. She did all of them work so hard. The females so badly just cheer for each other and want them to do well. So I just want everyone to do well and climb, feel good about their climbing.
Well, that's kind of you.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Grace has floated that section as if it was
cozy.
not even a difficult move.
Yeah.
We've been watching her now for a number of years. She competes in Seagull Block, in bouldering, and sport climbing. She's always kind of living up to her name. She proves graceful.
Yeah.
Bouldering, she can be super powerful as well, but whenever she's on a rope, she tends to glide up the wall.
She looks so smooth. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Now you got to the next hold,
yeah,
correct?
I got to the next hold and usable with matching that hold.
And what is that hold like?
It's the first hand, it's good, but
right there,
matching
yep.
it, yeah,
yep.
It's not going to be the best. Oh my God, why? She's so strong. She's so strong.
Grace McKeon.
Yes, Grace.
Pushing the high point for the women.
And doing it with style.
Yeah, my goodness.
I've got to say, I'm not surprised, but I am slightly surprised with just how easily she's making this look.
Oh! Just a slip of the hand for Grace McKeon, and she's off just like that.
With a laugh, though, you can tell she was satisfied with that. That's certainly going to put her in finals, no doubt.
And over there for the men, Shane Messer, local favorite, Watertown local, 30-year-old climber. This is his home gym. Took 15th 2 years ago at Nationals. He's pretty excited to be a dad. Not
He's
a lot of dads.
That dad bod.
That's right.
Nice one.
He's putting it to work here. He would love to make it into the finals tonight.
I've gotten small peeks at the male climb, but that climb looks insanely hard.
Yeah, I mean, so far we have not seen anyone that close to the top.
Really?
So.
Wow. Ooh.
Jeez. When in doubt,
yeah.
Campus. Yeah. Well, he doesn't even look pumped.
And that's where Jesse and Ben both rested quite a bit. The chain's just going to move right through. It didn't look comfortable on that foot. He's just going to power through this. Trying to match the high points of Jesse and Ben, but not to be for Shane Messer. That'll put him right in the mix, though, for the men, right around third place so far in the semifinal round.
Was that his power scream?
I think so.
That was really good. I wish I could scream like that.
Do you ever scream up there, Julia?
There's times where I scream a little bit. I keep it quiet, but sometimes you gotta let it all out.
We're gonna look at our scores there. Jesse Grouper still out in front for the men. Ben Tresco, Andrew Nimmer in the top three. For the women, we saw Julia was out in front of her, but we know that Grace will be eclipsing her with her performance there. But still, Julia in the running for finals.
That's it, Julia.
So exciting.
Yeah, so you're in second place so far. Next up for the women, we have Bimini Horseman. She's 17 years old from Newton, Massachusetts. And you must know her, Julia.
Oh, I've competed with her the last 6 years. She is insanely strong. Insanely strong.
What else? Tell us about Bimini.
Bimini, let's see about Bimini. Oh. I think she's usually like a very, very well youth climber. I know she always kicks my butt 24/7. So usually she's always placing first and doing really well. She's just actually such a nice person too. It's so great.
Cool.
She actually always looks really smooth too, so I'm excited to see her climb.
How do you expect her to do on this round?
I think she could probably, let's think about this. I think she can definitely get to where I got, and then maybe even a little bit further.
Cool.
That baby is psyched.
Bimini got second place in last year's Dark Horse comp and the Heist, so she is no stranger to the podium.
Coming out for the men there, stepping up to the walls, Benjamin Hanna from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Ben's 17 years old. Somehow been climbing since he was 3. He's a very decorated youth competitor. Climbing out of the Santa Fe Climbing Center. Not known as a hotspot for climbing talent down there in New Mexico, but it's really no surprise to see Ben do well here this weekend.
I feel like back in the day, New Mexico was, I mean, you know, Matt Samet out of New Mexico,
Yeah.
Timmy Fairfield. But yeah, lately we haven't seen that many. I don't know. We're probably forgetting someone, but.
Ben coming off a 5th place finish at Youth Bouldering Nationals just a few weeks back over there in Madison, Wisconsin. Quick turnaround from the bouldering season to the rope climbing season here. Just 6 weeks between national events.
Julia, I have written down here that Bimini's been climbing for only 7 years. Is that true?
I have no idea, actually. I thought she was, because when I came in, she looked like a seasoned veteran, and being
And that
only
was-
second year Youth C, so.
Yep. In any case, she's been climbing for about half of her life.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And she's gotten the elusive right-hand hold.
Yeah.
It's taken a lot of effort to
Oh,
get
she
her
looked
foot
very
in
smooth
position.
on that.
Awesome.
Bimini Horseman and Benjamin Hanna neck and neck on their respective routes right now. Trying to punch their tickets for finals tonight. That'll be live on LT11.tv at 6:45 Eastern Time. Don't miss that as Ben Hanna loses his foot and he's off the wall. That is definitely a surprise for Ben Hanna.
Yeah, I feel like the bends, could almost be assured in finals, but we'll see about that one.
Just cannot make a mistake in these route climbing comps.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's
Look at
Bimini
that.
just getting a move higher than Julia did. Is that right?
Yep.
She's looking super strong right now.
Come on. Ooh.
Not able to cross that move, but nice work by Bimini Horseman. That will position her nicely for a spot in finals.
So, Julia, one more question for you. When you're up there, these belayers, of course, are instructed to never short rope. So that means you're going to be falling a little farther than usual. Does fear ever enter your mind?
I love taking big whips. It's like the best thing in the whole entire world. I remember when I was younger, I'd be like, it's okay if you give some extra slack, I'm fine. So
Nice.
it doesn't
Nice.
scare me whatsoever. It's just so much adrenaline running through you. I'm just ready, ready to take the whips.
Great. Well, thanks so much for
Thank
being
you
with us,
so
Julia.
much.
And
Thank
great job. We'll see you in finals.
Thank you.
Probably.
All right, thanks to Julia Talbot for stopping by. Provisionally in 3rd place right now. And for the men, Jesse Grouper out in front. Trying to punch his ticket back to finals for the 2nd straight year.
This is the biggest rope climbing competition in the U.S. Why not tell everybody that you know about it and have them tune in on
Shane Mester in 2nd place right now. That'd be huge for the local crowd here tonight. They'd be going nuts for him. Nothing better than having the local climber in the competition in front of the local crowd.
Heck yeah. Gotta love it. And we will remind you this is the largest sport climbing competition in the country here at Metro Rock, or Central Rock Gym, excuse me. So yeah, be awesome to have a local. Mike Foley there stepping up for the men.
Mike Foley, 25-year-old climber out of Lincoln, Massachusetts, is another local on the East Coast here, been climbing for 15 years. Two-time junior rope national champion, continental champion, very accomplished climber. And as Katie Lamb steps up to the wall, we got Jesse Grouper in the booth here.
Howdy, how's it going?
Great, how are you doing?
Good.
That was a great performance up there, Jesse.
Thank you.
Yeah, how did you feel on those last moves and that last sequence?
So I was definitely pretty tired, but I was having a lot of fun, and yeah, those top moves just keep getting harder.
Yep. Do you feel like you could have gotten higher with a different sequence, or did you just simply pump off? Did you make a mistake? How did it feel? What happened?
I was pretty pumped up there, and I think I definitely could have brought my feet up, but at the same time, I feel like I did pretty well up there.
Yeah,
so
you did
pretty
super
excited.
well. We had Ben Tresco in here, and we were watching you, and he was duly impressed. So, yeah, it was really fun to watch you climb.
Thanks. Hopefully Mike will get a little bit further than me.
Yeah, yeah.
Get far.
And what do we know about Katie Lamb over on their women's route, Chris?
Katie Lamb is 19 years old from Lexington, Massachusetts, so relative local here. And she won the SCS Youth National title in UC a number of years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Mike
she was.
Foley surprisingly comes off right around where Ben Hanna just came off. That is definitely a shock here in semifinals.
Jesse, what do you think happened right there?
It looked like his foot just blew, and those are some pretty bad holds. So that's a pretty rough place to have that happen to you.
It's happened to a few of the guys so far. They kind of lost, maybe just lose focus for a second there, not quite expecting the holds to be as bad as they are.
Yeah, this climb is definitely on you for most of the route.
Yeah, it sure looks like it, especially because nobody so far has even gotten into the top quarter of the route.
Yeah.
So Katie Lamb also was just accepted to MIT. Another,
MIT season.
Another local, intelligent crusher here.
And super nice.
And super nice.
Gotta say.
You know her.
Yeah.
So tell us about her.
Well, she's, as I said before, super awesome person, and really strong climber, as you can see. She also does improv, which is a fun fact about her.
What, you mean like musical improv, like singing? Or?
No, sorry, like comedy improv.
Oh, nice.
And she puts on shows for her school on occasion. I was going to try to watch her last night, but her show got canceled.
Oh, no.
Bummer.
Gosh, we should have her do some improv right here.
Yeah, for sure. If you can get her in the booth.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty cool. She will not disappoint.
yeah, it doesn't seem like it. So yeah, this is the tricky bit for the ladies. Obviously, we'll see if Katie can make it happen.
She's wearing a knee brace. I'm not sure if that's for an injury or for she didn't try to use the knee bar, so it makes you think it might be.
I don't see any stealth rubber on that brace, so yeah, likely for an injury, but coincidental.
This is also Katie's home gym, so she definitely knows the angles better than other competitors, which might be an advantage.
Yeah, I definitely think that would be an advantage. The competitors are used to climbing on these walls. They kind of have an internal clock of how they would feel at certain aspects on the wall.
For sure.
Yeah, and look at this. She is getting another knee bar after the crux, the low crux anyway, of this route. It was awesome to see her again float through that.
Yeah, she's looking really strong.
See her sorting out the sequence, moving her body, not able to reel in that left hand. Nice work by Katie Lamb. See these climbers just always trying to twist and turn and pull their way up the wall. In the fascinating sport to watch, Chris.
I've seen this guy before. Have you, Brian?
I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, it's our defending national champion, one Kai Leitner, back again. Last year was his first adult rope nationals. Came out and just won the thing, beating Jesse, who finished in second last year. So
that's right.
Kai looking to defend his title. He's had a pretty big year since leaving nationals last year. Did his first 514D. Been getting a lot of attention from mainstream media.
Also did really well at ABS, right?
That's right.
Can you give us a little insight on what's going on in the early part of this route, Jesse?
Yeah, so I think the early part has definitely better holds with more powerful moves. That's what it felt like to me. So you're able to rest probably a little bit more than the top will allow someone to. But that being said, there are also some more powerful moves, I think. So it definitely gets you pumped in for the rest of the climb.
Sure.
Kai qualified in 6th position, which was, I guess, kind of surprising based on everything we know about him. But you can't win the comp during qualifiers.
That's right.
So he's, and certainly not in a bad position at all. The qualifier scores do not really have any impact on how people do in finals. Really, the scores in qualifiers and semis only count for finals if there's some sort of tie. There would be a count back. So.
Yeah, and reportedly Kai wasn't feeling very well during qualifiers yesterday. We can only hope he's feeling a little better today. He sure looks like he's feeling fine.
Looking very comfortable with not resting there like some of the other competitors have.
Yeah, I think there's the rest, isn't it?
Yeah, that works.
And Kai is so funny because he did this yesterday too. He sure hams it up for the crowd. Like he'll look at the crowd deliberately and smile, and it gets everyone going. Yesterday during qualifiers, his foot slipped, but he stayed on the wall and he kind of laughed and looked at the crowd and shook his hand like, "Oh no, don't worry, I'm not off yet.
I got this." Crowd really getting behind Kai Leitner here.
Yep.
Definitely one of the stars of the sport at this point.
And one of the kindest souls. I gotta say, I mean, he's just like such a sweet guy.
And that'll be high point.
Yep, I think he did that just for the high point, didn't he?
Making it look easy. Kai Leitner pushing out in front for the men here, setting a new high point. Let's see how he fares on this head wall. This is our first look at the top of the wall here.
Wow.
Kind of wondering when the hard part's going to start for Kai Leitner.
I know.
Looking so relaxed. That's going to do it for Kai Leitner. Great performance in semifinals here. I think we can solidly say we will see him in finals tonight, setting a new high point.
Absolutely.
Just 5 competitors to come for the men.
Yeah, he's got to be pleased with that. I mean, especially after how he performed and apparently felt in qualifiers. We're looking at Sydney Trinidad now on the women's semifinal route. She's 18 years old from Seattle, Washington. Last year, she was in 5th place in SCS Nationals here. So we can expect some great things from Sydney.
Yeah, Chris, we were talking before the show today about Sydney, and she's been kind of nibbling around the edges at these events. She's always right in the mix, never quite able to break through, into the top spot, but would not be surprised to see her competing for a spot on the podium tonight in finals.
Yep, you never know here. Well, Jesse Grouper, congratulations on doing so well so far. Really appreciate having you here in the booth.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Look forward
Thanks,
to seeing
Jesse.
you in finals.
Good luck
I
tonight.
Yeah, you guys too.
Thanks to Jesse Grouper for stopping by. It's currently in 2nd position in our semifinal round. Should be making it through to finals. Remember, you can go to usaclimbing.org for all the official results for this weekend. It should be up shortly after the semifinal round is over. Find out who made it to finals. Check out the running order, any other information you need. And then be back here tonight at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time for live coverage of finals.
That was Sydney Trinidad, not making it look easy, but definitely getting through it with enough juice. She has also now found the second knee bar that some of the ladies have found.
You can really see the depth of experience that these women have. That, you know, they're finding these subtle knee bars. They're resting when they should. Moving really smartly through these difficult sections.
Kind of this second stopper section appears to be this circle hold right there that she's got.
Yep. You can see her body swing out from the wall, but she pulled in, trying to search for a place for her foot, but you could see that Sydney Trinidad could not find a place to put her foot on there to make the next move. But nice work by her. She's going to be right in the mix there at the top of the women's leaderboard here.
Yep, definitely going into finals, I'd say.
Scoring update.
So we got a quick update on our scoring here. Kai Leitner out in front, obviously after that incredible performance in semifinals, followed by Jesse Grouper and Shane Messer. Ben Isaac Tresco coming out 21st qualifier, looking very good on his semifinal route. Grace McKeon in first for the women. Bimini Horseman, Katie Lamb, Julia Talbot, Audrey Miller rounding out the top 5.
All right, we're going to kill it.
It will be very close for the women to see who makes it into finals tonight. Next up for the men, Elon Jonas McRae, Canadian climber from British Columbia, been climbing for 10 years, 20 years old. Very strong, decorated international competitor. And Chris, we have a guest in the booth right now joining us as we watch Elon climb.
We sure do. We have Grace McKeon, our so far first place finisher. Thanks and welcome to the booth.
Thank you.
Yeah, great work out there.
Thank you. It was really fun.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. All right. So you cruised past the crux where a lot of women have stalled out and fallen. Did that even feel hard for you, Grace?
I think that I've done so many competitions that I kind of have like the right mindset. So I think not that they're not like strong enough. I just think I was calmer.
What is the right mindset for these comps?
Just having fun, I guess, and like staying really calm because a lot of people get freaked out. And so yeah, just having fun basically.
How do you do that when you're in such a high pressure situation? How do you stay calm?
I breathe a lot. I use like my clips as like markers to figure out where I should breathe to like remind myself. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Elon getting into the difficult section of this men's route. Elon has finished in the top 10 at international sport climbing competitions on the World Cup circuit. First place Pan Am Junior Championships 2 years ago in 2014. It's great to see him come down and compete at the U.S. events every now and again. Really fun climber to watch. He's got a very smooth style.
Just starting up for the women is Delaney Miller, our first place champion last year and in 2014 and in 2013. She is definitely the woman to beat this year. Grace, can you say anything about either the route or about how you expect Delaney to do this year?
I definitely see Delaney topping this route. I grew up climbing with Delaney on my team, and so we're really close. And she climbs so confidently and so fluid that I don't see her having any problems with this route.
Yep. Now, what about nerves? I know that yesterday she kind of admitted to feeling a bit nervous and maybe less prepared than she sometimes is. Do you think nerves could get the best of her, or is she going to just take charge?
I don't think it's anything with her being less prepared. I think it's just she may be feeling a little more pressure because she's won the past couple years.
Yeah.
But I think she also has a really good mindset and confidence in herself, so I think she can do it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
It's Elon wrestling with the top of the men's semifinal route, right in the mix with where a bunch of other men have gotten to at this point, trying to reach the high point just set by Kai Leitner just before he went. So he has a pretty good idea that Kai got high on the route. You can hear the cheers of the crowd.
Grace, as you watch Delaney going up here, do you ever kind of secretly think, gosh, I kind of hope she falls, just to make sure that, you know, either you make it to finals or you get on the podium or whatever?
I I never hope anyone falls. I just hope that my best that day is a little bit better than theirs.
That's great. I love it.
Elon looking very smooth so far. Matching Kai Leitner is the
I
only
also
climber to
didn't
get
get
onto the
any
head
of the
wall.
knee bars. There's a lot of knee bars on that route that I did not catch.
Well, you didn't need them. In fact, we were commenting as you were going through there, oh, she skipped the knee bar, but
Yeah.
like, who cares? You didn't
I
need
didn't
that.
see them, but
Yeah.
Speaking of skipping the knee bar, Elon Jonas McRae, one hole from the finish for the men, setting a new high point. Not surprising at all to see him high on the men's semifinal route.
Delaney chalking up right in the middle. Classic. She also didn't make that look very hard. How about this next section, Grace, that she's in right now? What is this like?
So the next hold is good, and then on the volume, the hold's not very good, and so you have to get a high heel. And a lot of us haven't been on these holds before, so it was tricky for us to try and figure out how to do it, and I kind of had to try and figure it out on the wall.
Yep.
So I really had to like be careful to like make sure that I'm thinking and not get distracted. So yeah. So after this, high heel.
Okay.
Let's get up. And then she really has to crank up to get to the cramp after this.
Can you
Or she
comment
can
at all?
rest.
Yeah, I know. Can you comment at all at kind of how Delaney is known for being very, very slow and controlled?
Yes.
That obviously serves her well. What do you think about that?
I think she's built to be a slow and very controlled climber, but I think that sometimes it kind of gets the best of her because sometimes you have to learn how to turn it on, like at the top of these routes, especially because they're getting harder and you get more tired. So I think that she may be able to benefit from a little bit faster tempo, but right now it seems like she's doing fine.
Yeah. It sure seems like she's well in control and doing well.
Yeah.
Right now is about
Delaney Miller showing championship form right now. Pushing the high point for the women here.
Awesome. Delaney Miller climbing like the champion she is. There look like some tough clips on this too.
Yeah.
While Delaney's taking on that top section on the left, on the right next up to the guys with Diversity.
Only 4 women to climb after Delaney Miller here. And Carlo's about to step up, Carlo Traversi to the wall, and he's the fourth man. He's the fourth man. Only 4 more to go.
See, Delaney has gotten higher than any of the other women, and she's still just taking her time, doing her thing. No rushing.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of comps have time limits, Grace. Did it feel different going up on here without a time limit?
I usually don't have a problem with time, but it was kind of nice to have that comfort that I could climb as long as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I don't like being on the wall for that long because I get really tired. But
yeah. Wow, and Delaney really fighting for every upward move. This is great.
Just incredible strength to be able to pull these moves after doing so many moves to get up to this point. You can see she's still locking out that hold, trying to squeeze in a rest there.
Yeah, creative resting here.
yeah, she's really good about like getting her hips over the holds and being able to shift her weight.
Delaney Miller zeroing in on the finish of women's semifinal here.
I'm a little concerned about that rope around her leg. Okay, and she knew it too. That was an amazing high point by our current champion, Delaney Miller. I bet you she's happy with that. What do you think? Is she happy?
I think so. I think she wishes she could have topped it. She's very stubborn, but I think she'll be happy with how she did.
Cool. Grace McKeon, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, and we will see you in finals tonight.
Best of luck, Grace. Thank you.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
So Delaney Miller definitely back in finals, defending her title. 3-time reigning national champion. And speaking of national champions, Carlo Traversi out on the wall for the men, 26-year-old climber from Santa Rosa, California. Carlo, better known for bouldering, but a lot of people might not know that he's 2-time national champion for rope climbing.
Nice. Thanks for enlightening us with that, Brian. That is a great point.
Carlo been on the podium multiple times here at Nationals. Never surprised to see him do well at Rope Nationals. As Chris said, Carlo qualified in 4th position after the qualifying run yesterday. We still have our top 3 qualifiers to come for the men and the top 4 for the women, so our best competitors still to come. We're starting to see these climbers push near the finish. Still awaiting the first finish of either the men or the women's route, Chris. What do you think? Is somebody going to clip the chains here today?
I think we're going to see some chains, baby. I mean, we only have a few more to go, but for the men with Sean Bailey and Drew Ruana, and with the men we have Margot, Claire, Michaela, and Kyra. I mean, any of them could clip the chains, and I'm going to bet that at least one of them will for each of the male and the females division.
Crowd here would love to see that. I'm sure the crowd at home would love to see that as well.
What do you think, Brian?
I think we're definitely going to see somebody finish the route. We saw Elon get within 2 moves of the finish for the men, and he looked actually pretty casual the whole time and then just kind of fell at the end.
And just kind of fell at the end. Yeah, that's what happens, isn't it?
Climbing's, it's a little weird like that. We were talking about this yesterday with some of the competitors. You know, when you're on the wall, you feel like maybe you're not in control or you don't feel like you're climbing the wall, but from watching, they just look very smooth, very in control. So it's kind of a very personal thing up there when you're climbing. Carlo looking very relaxed up there for the men. As Carlo checks out those moves, we're going to welcome in the reigning national champion, Kai Leitner. Kai, welcome to the booth.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being with us, Kai. That was an awesome performance up there. What was the route like?
The route was actually pretty chill all the way up until you get to the features, like the big black features, and then the moves can kind of gymnastic-y and a little bit tricky, and reading the sequence correctly is really imperative to getting really high on this climb, and I think I did pretty well with reading it.
Nice. Awesome.
As we check in on our scores there, we saw Kai in 2nd position for the women. Delaney Miller out in front, followed by Grace McKeon, Bimini Horseman, Sydney Trinidad, and Katie Lamb in the top 5. Remember, we're taking top 8-ish to finals.
That's right. And right now, we are welcoming Kyra Condi to the women's semifinal route. Kyra has been a consistent finisher, high in many comps lately. Last year at SCS Nationals here, she was 7th place. She recently won the Portland Boulder Rally in September of last year. She's been the Bouldering Youth National Champion, the Sport and Youth National Champion. I mean, the list goes on.
This is kind of the one comp we're waiting for Kyra to break through at. She's, I would say, better sport climber than boulder, and she's done really well in a lot of sport climbing comps, but never able to break through at Rope Nationals just yet. This could be her year, though. She climbed really well yesterday.
Yeah, Kyra is super strong, and I've known her for such a long time, and she's always has such amazing competition results, so she's also just a really nice person. So I'm really excited to see her climb, and hopefully she can make it into the finals.
Yeah, Kyra's definitely one of my favorite competitors to speak with. She's psyched. She's quick. In fact, already she's definitely set the speed limit on this comp route. She's gotten through that crux super fast.
Oh, yeah. Kyra is a jack of all trades. I think she's won nationals in all 3 categories more than once in speed, bouldering, and sport. And so, yeah, she has it all.
That's awesome.
Now, next to the guys on the right-hand side, we have Dalton Bunker out of Warren, Utah.
What does Kai know about Dalton?
So, Kai, Dalton Bunker is about to start up for the men. What do you know about Dalton?
I know Dalton is out of Momentum, which produces a lot of strong climbers, and most notably Nathaniel Coleman.
Yep.
And so he trains with him a lot, and so he's super, super strong. And so hopefully he can get really high on this climb. I think he can.
Nice.
Right now for the women, we're getting an incredible juxtaposition of styles between Delaney Miller and Kyra Condi. Kyra climbing so much faster than Delaney. It's working for both of them, though.
Yeah, I saw Delaney climb, and that was an amazing climb.
It was, that was a fantastic spectacle. And now Kyra, kind of in her jumpy style. I mean, it's just that's exciting in its own. So speaking of Nathaniel Coleman, where is he?
I think he injured his ankle. Either he broke it or sprained it. I can't really remember which one.
Oh, no.
So that's probably why he's not here at this competition. But I'm sure he'll be training really hard for the World Cup season. So
yeah,
that'll be exciting.
And along with you, Kai, we of course always see your mom, Connie. It's always great to see her and talk to her.
Yeah, everyone likes to talk to my mom, which is weird.
You think she's more famous or you're more famous?
I don't know. When I go to competitions and stuff, every time I go up to people are just like, "Hey, where's your mom?"
Oh, hey, Kai, what's up?
Like,
where's Connie?
Yeah, it's like, oh, nice to see you too.
That's great.
Yeah, but she's been good.
Awesome. So maybe, Kai, you can enlighten us a bit on what's going on with Dalton Bunker and the route here.
In the section that he's in right now, it's just a lot of the holds in this problem are, we call them like pipes. They're kind of like pipes. They're really circular in cylinder, and a lot of the competitors haven't seen them before, including myself. And so
they're new holds.
Yeah, they're absolutely new. And
okay.
And I haven't trained them at all or seen them in many competitions. And so it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, and that's where a lot of the more experienced competitors will really be maybe more equipped or more like more able to mentally handle it. Because they're kind of more mentally prepared to handle a lot of situations in competition climbing.
Yeah.
So we'll see though. Dalton Bunker hasn't competed in too many nationals, but he's a super strong climber in general, and so I expect him to do really well.
Are you nervous watching these other climbers, knowing that you're defending your title from last year?
Not really. Actually, I've been sick all week.
Oh no!
I had a really bad illness earlier in the week, and so I've been on several different kinds of medications, and the side effects have been like muscle fatigue and shortness of breath, and so I've been kind of struggling through it throughout this competition.
Wow! We never would have guessed by watching you.
So it's been kind of a rocky road, but most importantly, I feel like I'm more focused on performing my best and being able to climb to the best of my ability in this competition, knowing that I'm at 100%, and hopefully, I hope to defend my national title, but you never know.
Yeah.
All I can do is my best.
Cool. Well, I sure hope you feel better in the finals tonight. So Dalton has just gotten through one of the first major hurdles of this route, it seems like.
Yeah, and I think he needs to relax a little bit. He looks a little tense.
Yeah.
19-year-old Dalton Bunker from Orem, Utah.
How do you relax, Kai, when you're up there fighting really hard? You know, it feels like there's a lot at stake. This is your one chance. I mean, what do you do? How do you trick yourself to relax?
I feel like in order to be successful in competitions, it's absolutely, you have to be able to learn how to tune out the crowd and everyone watching you, and be able to just focus on your climbing and really enjoy the climb in front of you. And I feel like over the years I've been able to develop that skill, but it's a really hard skill to develop. And actually, Dalton just came off the wall, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Great effort from our third place qualifier, Dalton Bunker. So we get a check on the scores. Elon Jonas McRae out in front. Kai Leitner just behind him in second place. Jesse Grouper.
Elon is super strong. Yeah. I've trained with him before, and I actually, when I did a couple World Cups last year, he was with me with the Canadian crew, and he's just so strong. He has the strongest fingers I believe I've ever seen on a human being. So it's incredible to watch.
Yep. Awesome. So one more thing, you just mentioned, Kai, that you try to tune out the crowd and tune out everything and just focus. Yet you're one of the only competitors up there who will almost always take a glance at the crowd, give a little smile. You know, so how does that work if you're tuning them out, yet you're also kind of engaging the crowd, which is really fun for us?
Well, when I'm rock climbing and I'm competing on a climb, usually I'm nervous in the beginning, and so some of the coping mechanisms I do for kind of relaxing my nerves is I usually rest a lot at the beginning of the climb.
Yep.
And usually if I interact with the crowd and I know that they're on my side, it kind of relaxes me a bit so that I can continue climbing.
Awesome. Well, Kai, we're definitely going to be on your side tonight in finals.
Thank you.
Wishing you the best. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, best of luck.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Kai Leitner, for stopping by the booth. Looking forward to seeing him in finals night.
Definitely. And now we're watching Michaela Kirsch 21 years old. She's from Chicago, Illinois, lived in Boulder, Colorado for just under a year, but she's back in Chicago. And I'm going to get back to the age thing again, because at 21 years old, Michaela Kirsch was the third oldest female competitor who entered qualifiers yesterday. Only 3 of the females were old enough to drink. Legally, that is.
Yeah, I've known Michaela for a long time. She's out of Chicago. It's kind of hard to believe that she's only 21. I feel like she's been climbing ever since I started climbing and just been doing really well. Winning comps in the local scene in the Midwest, and then obviously an international and national youth scene, having really great results for a really long time now.
That's right. Yeah, she was first place in youth nationals in 2012. Outdoors, she's climbed a couple of 514s, which is seemingly getting rarer and rarer for the best competitors indoors to also perform at a high level outdoors, curiously, and for better or worse, I don't know, but Michaela has proved herself outside as well.
And out on the wall for the men, 19-year-old Sean Bailey out of Shoreline, Washington. Been climbing for 14 years. Sean is one of the most decorated youth competitors in the country. Youth national champion in bouldering and lead climbing 2 years ago. Took 6th place in the World Championships. This is Sean's first adult rope nationals. Not really surprising to see him do well yesterday, but definitely a new face on the adult climbing scene.
I was amazed at how smoothly and easily and effortlessly he cruised through a couple of the cruxes that were spitting off some of the other qualifying men.
Yeah, the men's routes were really difficult yesterday for qualifiers. Sean was one of the only men to finish either of them, along with our upcoming first place qualifier, Drew Ruana. He and Drew were the only ones to finish the second men's qualifier, excuse me.
And Michaela Kirsch is floating through the women's route, not pausing too long at any specific spot, unlike most of the women so far.
We've seen so many different experiences for the women on this route. Some women climbing really slow, some climbing really fast. It's been a really fascinating route to watch.
Oh, wow. Michaela clipping off of one of the micro crimps on the wall where nobody else has even tried to clip.
Now she's going to rest on him. Why not? After taking a year off, Michaela is back looking really strong this year.
She's so unassuming, too. I mean, when I talked to her yesterday in the warm-up zone, I mean, she was the one seemingly taking things the least seriously. Like, she was laughing, she was talking. I interviewed her for a while. She didn't care. And she's actually having fun. I think a lot of competitors, Brian, talk about having fun, but most of them don't. I think Michaela actually has fun.
It's hard not to have fun when you're climbing this well, Chris. Michaela Kirsch moving into second position here in semifinals, trying to match Delaney Miller, who nearly topped out the route just a few minutes ago. But we'll be seeing Michaela in finals, which is no surprise.
Oh. All smiles. Michaela Kirsch putting in an excellent shot at the women's semifinal. We will definitely see her tonight.
Let's move back to Sean Bailey here, moving through the section on the men's route that started to ramp up the difficulty. But he is looking super controlled and smooth right now.
Yeah, in a blink, he's already passed the first major hurdle of the men's route.
Sean has climbed numerous hard 514s outside. Quietly, one of the best sport climbers in the country. He's been living down in San Diego of late, training down there at Mesa Rim. Seems to be paying off for him. Doing this section, I think the more difficult way that we've seen, but not really being much of it.
Really? Because, yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
And this is what we were talking about earlier in the round, Chris. You start to see these top qualifiers, how they make sections that previous climbers make look difficult or they couldn't even get to. They start to make it look really easy. Sean Bailey pulling onto the head wall now.
I mean, when you get to this caliber of athlete, Brian, it does not even look like the same route that the earlier climbers were on.
Crowd starting to get behind Sean, cheering him on. They want to see somebody get to the top of the semifinal route. He has matched the high point of Elon Jonas McCrae, pushing to the top. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Staring down the finish hole, Sean Bailey. Slam dunk for Sean Bailey.
Wow. Woo. Sean Bailey, the first guy to finish the semifinal route with only one more to go. Wow.
That was an easy high point for Sean Bailey. We'll see him in finals tonight.
Oh my. Wow, it's impossible to overstate how rad that was.
Nice.
Woo. Let's go through the scores real
We
quick.
get an update on the women's scores. Delaney Miller, Michaela Kirsch, Kyra Connie in the top 3. Grace McKeon, really no surprise at all to see those 4 women there. Julia Talbot, who we had in the booth before, still holding in there for finals. Looks like she's going to make it. Obviously, Sean will be on top of the men's leaderboard once his scores get in there. Remember, we're taking the top 8 to finals with some exceptions, like 4 nationals and continental champions, not counting as an 8-climber quota. So we'll probably have around 10 women and 10 men in finals. Just keep that in mind. We'll have the full results at usaclimbing.org as soon as they go final. Really nothing better than the bro circle after you just flash the route, Chris.
That's right. And already on the wall is Claire Burfind, 17 years old, certainly no stranger to these competitions. She was in 3rd place last year. Actually, she flashed the finals route along with the other 2 competitors who were on the podium, Brian, but the scoring had to go back to the semifinals. So in a sense, if it's anything like last year, this semifinal will matter. It definitely has the potential to matter for their final outcome here at Sport and Speed Nationals.
That's a great point, Chris. Actually, the last 2 years she's flashed the finals route and not won, so
that's correct.
She knows the semifinal route can almost be treated like a final.
Yeah, she was also 3rd place last year in Seco Block comp, as well as the Seco Block champion 2 years ago.
She's been one of the most fun youth competitors for me to watch over the years, the last couple years. Just doing well in bouldering, sport climbing, Seco Block.
Yep. And I gotta say, if there's any female that I've seen just any random time, whether it's warming up, talking to friends on the wall, Claire has a smile on her face.
That's right. A lot of nice people in this competition, Chris.
Aw.
Doesn't get you any points, but
it gets you soul points where it matters.
That's right. Claire trying to chase down Delaney Miller, 3-time defending national champion who set the high point on this women's semifinal route.
Yep, and Claire also has a long enough lower leg to stick into that second knee bar.
Out on the wall for the men, our first place qualifier, young Drew Ruana, just 16 years old, been climbing since he was 3.
I believe that. I actually used to climb with his parents, Rudy and Chris. Great people, great friends of mine. And yeah, gosh, I'm excited to see them again. Got to make another trip back to Smith Rock.
Drew is a highly decorated youth competitor, also building an incredible resume of outdoor climbing results. Just recently did the first set of a 514D at Smith Rock out in Oregon.
Hardest route is Smith now.
Not bad at 16. I was really impressed with his climbing during qualifiers yesterday. Climbing just so smart and so intuitively. Really belies his 16 years of age.
Poetic. And true. Meanwhile, Claire Burfind is kind of hiking.
not too surprising at this point. Although she's trying to figure out this section. This is where Kyra and Michaela hit the brakes.
Oh.
Wow, that was a little bit surprising for Claire Burfine to come off at that point. It looks like she just rushed it a little bit. Couldn't quite commit to that sequence. I think that should be good enough to get her into finals, though.
Yeah, I think so. She is not looking happy with that. In fact, I think that's the very first time I've ever seen her come down without a smile on her face. She appears disappointed, naturally. But again, hopefully it won't matter. But she knows in the back of her mind how important her semifinal results could be.
Yeah, it's going to put up the, more pressure on her for finals, for sure. See Drew kind of approaching this in a little bit of a difficult way, but he's back down into more of a comfortable resting position.
Ooh.
He's committed to going left now. This is where the experience comes in, though. See him just kind of relaxing. That was a little bit of a tough section for him, but now he's just kind of back in the zone, trying to get back into the flow of things.
Yeah, I'm really psyched to see Drew finally in the adult circuit here because, of course, I've been hearing about him for years in the news as a very young person climbing his first 513A and then B, and then he's climbed 513 trad routes. I mean, just really an all-around crusher. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I'd never seen him climb before yesterday, and it was a real treat to see him out here. Drew Ruana coming off just past the head wall there in the men's semifinal route. Should be good enough to get him into finals, but not matching the high point that was just set by Sean Bailey, the only man to finish men's semifinal route. Sean will be going into finals in first place. He'll be the man to beat tonight at 6:45 Eastern Time. Our live coverage of finals will begin. Looking, should be about everybody that you see on that page will either be in finals or right on the bubble. Garrett Greger, call your office. For the women, Delaney Miller, well out in front with a superior performance thus far. Michaela Kirsch, Kyra Conde, Grace McKeon, kind of all right behind her. Going to be all eyes on Delaney Miller tonight, it seems like.
But as usual at Sport Climbing Nationals,
we do have one competitor left, though, for the women, Chris.
We sure do, and we are looking at Margot Hayes, 18 years old, from Boulder, Colorado. She was our second place finisher in last year's Sport Climbing Nationals, second place in last year's Youth Worlds. She's recently climbed 514 again outside. She climbed Scarface at Smith Rock. She has also sent 14B at Rifle. She's flashed 13C. She is an all-around climber, to say the least. And last year, earning second place after a recent back injury, she's back in seemingly her best form. So I think everybody expects something special from Margot, and I don't think she's going to disappoint. She's a wonderful competitor, a very kind person, and I'm excited to watch her climb.
The women's field is so competitive at the top. There are so many women that it would not be surprising to see any of them dethrone Delaney Miller this year.
That's right. And Margot is almost in an enviable position. When you're second place coming into this semifinals, second place as in from last year, you kind of have everything to gain, right? And we talked to Delaney earlier, and it sounded like she was probably a little more nervous than usual, just having to, again, defend her title. So I think maybe there's a little runner-up advantage going on here. I bet Margot is kind of like, well, you know, I can still go up.
Yeah.
I see Margot training often at Movement in Boulder, and God, she sure is dedicated, always in there, and very smooth climber. I mean, even right here where her feet cut on this volume, just always in control.
She's so measured in her climbing.
Yep.
Not making any false moves or like any, frantic moves, just feeling it out.
And I've never seen more heel hooks than those from Margot Hayes. It's so fun to watch these competitors because someone as experienced as Margot and as strong, it appears that they've been on this route any number of times before. But of course, this is their very first time on the route.
And in fact, it could be the first time they've grabbed any of these holds, as we were talking with Kai about.
That's right.
The competitors, they have a lot of experience. They're able to recognize certain holds on the wall that they've climbed on previously. But oftentimes at these national events, will be brand new holds just for these competitions. So they're going to have to kind of feel things out as they go, which is easy to do when you're climbing with such control. See her using both of her feet there to pull into the wall.
And now Margot clipping off that second crimp as well.
You saw her and Michaela both do that because they don't know if the next hole is going to be good or not. You don't want to get up there and be surprised that all of a sudden you got to go back down and clip. Margot Hayes pushing onto the head wall for the women here. Our final competitor in this semifinal round, our #1 qualifier, trying to match the high point of our 3-time defending champion Delaney Miller. It's not going to be for Margot Hayes. She is right up there though. We'll almost certainly see her in finals.
All right, commentators, stand by to come to you and sign off. Stand by. We'll go to a scoring update first.
And that's going to do it for the semifinal round.
Margot Hayes, awesome performance. She maybe isn't happy that she didn't get to the top, but it sure was an excellent shot.
That was definitely clear separation from Delaney Miller and the rest of the women's field as we look at the men's scores first. John Bailey topping out the route, clearly out in front. Elon Jonas McCrae right behind him. Kai Leitner, Drew Ruana, Jesse Grouper, Dalton Bunker, Shane Messer, Ben Isaac Tresco, Carla Traversi, Andrew Nimmer. We'll be seeing most, if not all, of those men in finals tonight.
Probably 1 through 9. There's only 1 foreign national.
We'll check on the women's score. Delaney Miller, well out in front for the women with a superior performance on her semifinal route. Michaela Kirsch in second. Kyra Condi, Claire Burfine. I'm still waiting for Margot's score to be added in there, but she'll be right in that mix, Chris, in the top 5 for sure, which is not surprising.
No surprises actually with the women.
Come to you guys.
No, that's a great point, Chris. For the women, we expected the results to look an awful lot like that. Julia Talbot, that was surprising. Got to talk to her a little bit. That was really great to get her insight. And for the men, Sean Bailey, I think neither of us are too surprised to see that he is our #1 qualifier going into finals tonight. That'll be tonight at 6:45 Eastern Time. LT11.tv. Do not miss it. We will be back.
It's going to be exciting. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again tonight.
Thanks, guys. Taking credits in 3, 2, 1. All right, this is going to go through credits, and then there's a little delay at the end of the credits, and then we have our LT11 commercial and so Mike, you can mute everybody except the credits.
Louder Than 11 is in the business of storytelling. Rather than just providing a live streaming service, we use broadcast as a medium to tell vivid stories. Our creative productions provide an experience that focuses on the heart of an event. We use innovative technology to tell stories that would otherwise not be told.